Good morning, everybody. Wake up with Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks at Dude Wipes, because you'll never need dry, crappy, scratchy toilet paper ever again. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. Trying to wake up, and the only way to do it with a nice sip of Stella Blue coffee. Thank you, Big Cat. Okay, now, all right, now let's roll. Shout out to Stella Blue, official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs and Wake Up Mintzy, two of the greatest longstanding institutions really in the game in sports entertainment. I'm joined as always by Tyler Moody from Louisiana. What's up, Mr. Moody? How are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, Ben. Just trying to match your energy. I see you over there rocking your Zion jersey. I went and grabbed the Pels Bucky this morning to throw on, so I'm ready to go. I actually got some sleep last night, so I'm awake for one of the shows, man. I'm usually dragging ass in here, but feeling pretty good on this. What we got Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Wednesday. Yeah, I'm getting to where I'm like more on this morning schedule now, and so I'm waking up at 6 or 6:30, just getting used to it because I take a lot of early flights too and wake up Mincy. So I never really saw myself as someone that would be getting up at 6 a.m. usually, but here we are. A lot of stuff to get into today. We got two fun guests. First of all, the man who started the poker boom, the 2003 World Series of Poker main event champion Chris Moneymaker, going to join us on Zoom here at 8:10, and then we're getting the Wake Up Mintzy debut of Liam Blutman. Going to talk some NHL playoffs and get you ready for the NFL draft tomorrow night. Some Barstool stuff I want to touch on here first. NFL draft show tomorrow night. Always a huge production. Can't really spoil. We got some surprise guests with the team picks. I don't really want to spoil. I'm working on not spoiling stuff. I know it's not a strength, but we're trying hard to do better on that. But I know Stephen Shea is ready for his big day. Brandon Walker also going to host it, I believe. But it's going to be a huge production. It always is. So join us for the first round of the NFL draft tomorrow night. I believe that starts at 7 o'clock. And then Friday, man, we got the red carpet event, Moody. I'm super excited about it. The Film Fest, presented by Boy Kills World, which comes out in theaters on Friday. We had four groups do four different short movies that I believe are like 5 to 7 minutes each. We had a biopic, a romance, a horror, and I'm not sure what the other one was. And the posters came out yesterday. And I don't know, did you have a chance to see the posters?
No, I have not been.
Oh man, I loved it. It had me like sitting down in a doctor's coat with like a cigarette. It's pretty funny. But yes, really excited for that red carpet event Friday 3 to 6. So I'm taking my suit to the cleaners today to be looking sharp for the Barstool red carpet event. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up this week. As always, dude, it's just always so busy here at the stool in the best way. I'm rocking my City Edition Zion Williamson jersey for Pelicans playoffs tonight. Game 2, Pels at Thunder tonight at 8:30. NBA and NHL playoffs. This week is super underrated on the sports calendar. You know, we always talk about like what's your favorite time on the sports calendar, all that stuff. You know, this isn't a week I'd usually mention, but man, Moody, when it's first round of the NBA and NHL playoffs, you got 8 playoff series going right now in both sports. And I mentioned this yesterday. This multi-view thing that's taken over is like a life changer. I mean, I've got the thing up where I'll have 2 NHL and 2 NBA games going, or you know, maybe 2 and 1 at night right now, and I'm freaking loving it, man. I love the technology of sports. Watching on TV last night, got to see some games. You know, one thing that was very interesting to me last night was the home teams had won every single NBA playoff game so far until the Dallas Mavericks erased it last night with a 96-93 win at the LA Clippers to knock that series up at 1. The Minnesota Timberwolves beat Phoenix down again. And then the Indiana Pacers got revenge for game 1 when Damian Lillard just went nuclear in the first half and won on the road in Milwaukee. So we actually had not one, but 2 road teams win last night. So we've got a couple of 1-1 series tonight. 2 NBA playoff games. The Heat are plus 14.5 at Boston. Heat feel kind of like a dead team walking without Jimmy Butler. And the Pelicans plus, I believe it's like 8 or 7.5 at the Thunder. Late night 8:30 game. Y'all know I'm a big Pels guy, big New Orleans guy. I'm going to game 4 Monday night in New Orleans. I'm crossing my fingers because I want to go to game 6 in New Orleans next Friday if the Pels can make it. I just still feel like they gave away game 1, losing by 2. I think tonight's gonna be a little tougher. Can't expect Oklahoma City to score less than 100. Got to get more from Bi and CJ McCollum, but very much looking forward to watching that tonight. NHL playoffs rolling along. Last night the Rangers got up 2-0, beating the Capitals. A thriller in Florida and Fort Lauderdale. Great series matchup between Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida. Florida winning in overtime last night. Tampa Bay's now lost 6 straight OT playoff games. That's pretty tough there to lose that many in a row. Granted, the Lightning have obviously had a ton of success, and then in the night stuff, road teams won. Nashville got a big road win, but NHL playoffs rolling along right now. Some fascinating series there tonight. Moody, I know you're kind of a bandwagon Dallas Stars guy, being in East Texas kind of guy that you are. They got to bounce back tonight after losing game 1 4-3 to Vegas. Should be a hell of a game tonight. So the sports rolling along in the playoffs right now, following that pretty close, and then getting excited for the NFL draft. I know Moody, you following the Major League Baseball. How's that going for you?
Decent. Everything lately's just been kind of up and down. Like my picks were up what 4 or 5 units on picks, but we're down like 12, maybe 14 units on home run props. So it's been good, but I mean, home run props, man. The thing is, there's some guys out there that also bet home run props, and they are saying that the balls are the opposite of juiced right now. They think that the balls are a little bit manipulated because home runs are down considerably to start the year versus the last couple seasons. So maybe a little baseball manipulation going on right now in the market. Games are seeing less runs, less home runs for sure, and it has affected your boy just a little bit. But we're cruising through it. I know whenever the weather starts to warm up, the home runs will warm up, and we'll probably heat up with it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in the baseball world.
So the home runs are down to start the year. You don't
Yes.
think it's like a cold weather thing with the
No, because
northeastern
they're down
because it's
versus the
down
last couple
overall.
years. Yeah, like even during this time frame. I mean, they're three of the least home runs, the day with the least home runs, 3 of those days have happened this year versus like the last 5 years. So I mean, without question, home runs are just down in general at the moment, which is certainly interesting. Maybe once basketball season finishes up, they'll put the juice baseballs back out there and we can see the ball flying around again. But we are seeing lower scoring games with less home runs right now to start the season.
Yeah, the I believe the Astros are in Chicago this week.
And struggling. They've only
Um,
won 6 games so far. I mean, their pitching staff has been bad to this point. It's been really bad. Some of the guys they expected to carry them offensively, cold to start. Jose Abreu has been just putrid to open up the season. So there are definitely some concerns right now for the Houston Astros, a team that I thought was going to be great this year. I really did, and could
a
still
few
be.
other things I want to get. Few other things I want to get to. There's a funny clip. It's all over Twitter right now. It was kind of grainy, but some poor like fat dude took a Tommy Tanks missile. Had his glove in left field trying to catch a home run and just totally whiffed it last night. I don't know if you saw that clip, but it was pretty funny. I felt bad for the dude. I mean, he had a 109-mile-an-hour missile off his bat, the LSU star, and poor guy got smoked by it. Felt his pain. Looked like he was okay.
Yeah, that's insane. Tommy Tanks hits freaking missiles.
Yeah, that didn't look like the most fun. One other Barstool thing I forgot to comment on yesterday. We're obviously big Billy football fans here. We've had him on twice talking about his run for Congress. Did you see Billy's getting sued?
No, I did not. That's very interesting. What's the deal?
So Mike LaPetrie is trying to sue Billy, saying his signatures aren't valid, and so now Billy's having to hire a lawyer and all this litigation stuff. Dude, politics are rough, man.
Yeah, that's a world I would not want to step into. Credit to Billy for even trying to get in there and clean things up because that's just it's a grimy world all the way around.
Some other fun stuff coming up. I got my jersey on. I've got a video I'm taping with Tate later today, or not later today, literally at 9 o'clock. That's sure to be, I think, kind of funny. Tate's going to try to, being a basketball coach that he is, he's going to work with me on my basketball skills because I've got my first basketball game in, I don't know, Moody. I don't think I played a basketball game like a game. I guess I've played some scrimmages, but like 20 years. But I'm playing in the Louisiana State Senate versus Louisiana House of Representatives charity basketball game at the PMAC at LSU next Wednesday night at 7. So I'm trying to get some pointers from Tate. I think I need all the help I could get. We're going to go through some drills later. Should be fun.
One thing chat's wondering about, they're talking about it this morning. Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, I definitely think it's deserved. The fact that Johnny Manziel did some of the stuff that he did and was able to keep his Heisman, definitely think Reggie did deserve this one back.
Yeah, and it just looks stupid right now. And obviously, I'm a big Reggie Bush fan from the Saints days, but it just looks stupid now that he got some money or whatever. I mean, that's legal now. And everybody knows that people have been doing that forever. I think it's just like tone deaf of the NCAA not to do that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the NCAA has taken such a beating and their reputation so bad. I think they need to do it just to do anything to try to save any kind of face at this point. Because I would argue that there's really no more hated organization in sports than the NCAA. And with the way the college football or college sports world has changed with the NIL. And then, you see the SEC and the Big Ten forming these super conferences. I think we're living in a world in 3 to 5 years where the SEC and Big Ten might succeed from the NCAA and just do their own thing with like 32 or 36 teams. I think that's a very possible thing because the NIL world has changed everything. And that, look, it already wasn't fair with the Power Five versus G5 being on the same playing field. And now, you look at NIL budgets for some of these Power Five schools versus like UL Monroe, for example, that has no money. Like, do you really think they're in the same like D1 playing field? So I think the NCAA is just trying to do anything to save face because of how hated they are. But it seems like they're kind of becoming less and less powerful, which I don't mind. I've never been the biggest NCAA fan. I don't really know anybody that is, to be honest to you.
No, no, nobody's a big NCAA fan whatsoever. No, no chance.
No, just do you have Chris Moneymaker there?
I have not seen Moneymaker yet. We sent him the link over. Do not have anything from Moneymaker just yet.
Okay, I'm gonna text him real quick. I'm gonna text him real quick. I'm gonna try to get
We
him.
should hopefully
Uh,
we'll have him joining us up here in just a second though.
all right, all right, I'm texting right now. My bad. Um,
Vince, if you had to sell some items to make some money, what would be something that you might sign and give away that would represent you but also make you some money?
make me
Yeah,
money.
if you were in Manziel's situation where you need, Reggie Bush's situation, you needed some money for college, what are you doing?
I think for Reggie Bush, I'm signing I think I'd sign posters of him playing and footballs. Same thing with Johnny. If I was getting creative, like for me, I think the bananas are the best thing I have, but I'm not Johnny Manziel or Reggie Bush. Um, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I would see maybe some boxes. You've had your war with the boxes. I could see that being something that you would sign and make some cash. Definitely the bananas as well.
The bananas would be really funny. All right, I'm texting Moneymaker. Hopefully we get him on here in a second. Getting ready. I've got the Moneymaker. So Chris, though, before we get him on, a little background on him. The poker boom started really in 2003 when he won the World Series main event. And I feel like everybody's seen when he won it. It was like the everyman winning the World Series main event after he got in on a satellite. And that's how I started playing poker. And I know it affected, I'm sure it affected you too, Moody. The whole world, people just really got into poker after he won that main event. And I mean, it was a huge impact on my life and career. Starting out playing games in the frat house at Ole Miss and then Tunica and online, and inspired my whole generation, a lot of professional poker players and the online poker boom. And he's a super good dude. Uh, and he's got his own poker tour now. And, y'all saw what happened when I made the final table a couple months ago in West Palm and got in a little snafu with my boss, Dave Portnoy, when I wasn't here for the combine for that final table. But I'm playing the Moneymaker event. He's down in Daytona, Florida right now. They've got an event down there this week. I'm going down there on Saturday to play that main event. It's a $1,500, 300K guaranteed. I'm excited about it. Moody, I got to be honest, it was fun getting to play the Celebrity Poker Tour event in Vegas. I had such a good time doing it, but I'm pissed as hell I didn't win that. That was just such a soft spot and a chance to pick up money. So I feel like I'm ready for some redemption at the poker table after that. But I've got some stuff coming up, playing the Moneymaker Tour event on this weekend. And then I'm also, I believe, going to try to play the MSPT Firekeepers Michigan and Kalamazoo, Michigan in May. That's like an 1,100 buy-in. That's huge. It's like 1,400 people and like 400K to first. And, I'm excited. The World Series of Poker starts at the end of May. Last year I went out all summer working for Poker Go, and I still have a great relationship with those guys. That was a big reason why I got to play the Celebrity Poker Tour. This summer, I'm looking at going out to Vegas a few days before the main event, playing a couple of events to warm up and then playing the main. But, it's poker season right now. It's crazy to see how big poker is. The World Poker Tour event in Florida that just got to the final table, I think had like 1,800 entrants. It continues to boom more and more around the country since COVID. I think like really what happened there was once live poker got taken away during COVID, I think people maybe appreciated it more, if that makes sense. But it's booming all over the country, and it's fun. The Midwest thing up here, they've got two World Series of Poker circuit events in Chicago area, and then I'm still playing all kinds of stuff on weekends when I can. So, kind of enjoying that. People have been asking for a little more poker content, and more is coming. But I kind of just wanted to update a little bit on that front. You been playing any poker lately?
No, I have not played any poker lately. Not at all. I guess with baseball season starting, I've kind of been putting my time there. So no baseball season. I mean, no poker for me at the moment.
Yeah, no, I hear you. NFL draft tomorrow night. Still waiting on Chris. Kind of he committed last night, so I don't want to say annoyed because I really like him, but he knew to come on here, so I'm gonna be a little not mad, but the show rolls on as always. I told him to check his link. The I'm excited about the poker thing, and then just really the NFL draft right now. I mean, there's a lot of quarterback stuff going on. With Caleb Williams is obviously the one pick. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the two pick to the Commanders. There's rumors that people are trying to trade up for that. I just don't think Sam Howell showed enough to be the guy, and he kind of got benched late in the year. And with Dan Quinn coming in there and a new owner, I think they want a new franchise player. The real question is the Drake May thing. Does he go three to New England? Does New England trade down right now? Nobody knows. New England known for trading down and collecting assets, but they also don't have a quarterback. So they got to be, you think in the market. The one thing I do feel confident of is I think Arizona's taking Marvin Harrison at 4. They've been linked to him for a while. And I think Kyler Murray needs another weapon. And then the fascinating thing that's going on in the NFL draft right now is the JJ McCarthy stuff. He was projected coming to the draft. They were thinking like late first round. And then, all the dude did was win at Michigan, but he had a great running game and great defensive support. But he tore it up in the draft process. And, you see teams like a lot of people are linking him to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have the 11th and 23rd picks. And so, with Kirk Cousins moving on to Atlanta, that would make a lot of sense for them to move 11 and 23 and maybe something else to try to move into the top 5 and get him. And then the other question is the New York Giants have the 6th pick. Moody, where are you on Daniel Jones currently? Because he's in his 5th-year option year this year. And, while I got him to the playoffs 2 years ago and finally had a good year, he's been injury prone and it's been up and down and inconsistent every other year, basically, except for 2 years, the season before this. So do you think there's a chance the Giants take a quarterback? Or do you think they stick with Daniel Jones going forward?
I think Daniel Jones is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, with that being said, he's had no weapons. The offensive line play has been absolutely horrible. So it's not completely his fault that he's awful and not an NFL starting quarterback or caliber quarterback. So I'm not putting all of the blame on him, but the fact is he's not an NFL caliber quarterback right now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Giants move on whatsoever. The problem is they have way too many issues right now. That's a team with a lot of holes on it. They are pretty good defensively, but you look at the offensive side of the football. I see a team that desperately needs help, and I don't know that a quarterback is going to change that at the moment.
NFL draft in Detroit on Thursday night. Do you like it more now that they do the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or did you like it when it was Saturday, Sunday?
I'm not the biggest draft guy to begin with. I'll watch day one, and then after that, I'm just gonna check the updates from my phone towards the end of the draft. So, I'm okay with it either way. I think day one is super important and special. That first round is what a lot of people are paying attention to, and then after that, it's kind of whatever, check it and see what your team did type deal.
Yeah. Well, my thing with it, and I thought this was an interesting point my friend made. I think the GMs, it was tougher on the GMs when it was Saturday, Sunday. And I feel like it showed more skill when you had to do the first 3 rounds as opposed to just the first round. And now it's spaced out. I think it maybe makes it a little easier. I kind of like the Thursday night thing, though. Having said that, I like the big production, and I love our NFL draft show. I know other companies do them, but Barstool puts its own flair on it. We do our own thing. And so I guess I'm more pro Thursday, Friday, Saturday now that I now that I think now that I think about it. But also huge weekend and Moody, I don't know if you realize this, New Orleans this weekend. I won't be there this weekend, but I will be there next week. Uh this weekend we got NBA playoffs, the PGA Tour, Zurich, and Jazz Fest all going on. Pretty dirty weekend down south.
Yeah, it'll be a good time to be down in NOLA. I mean, this time of the year, New Orleans is one of, if not the best cities in the entire country. I mean, there's just a vibe from Mardi Gras through the beginning of summer, where it really just cannot be beat in New Orleans.
Yeah, I agree. And the Jazz Fest first weekend going on, I was shocked to see the Killers, who are playing headline on Jazz Fest Friday, announced they got tickets going on sale. They're playing Tipitina's, the famous New Orleans music club, Thursday night, and that's like 800 people. People are just in shock that they're playing there. I guess they wanted to do it. I expect that to be a very tough ticket, but I know you did a double take when you saw that too.
Yeah, it's just interesting, right? The Killers feel like they're a little bit too big to be playing at Tipitina's, but Tipitina's is such it's just such a cool venue, a place that these artists want to come and play, even if they know they're going to sell it out. It's going to be packed because there's not a lot of room in there, man. I've seen some small artists sell that venue out, and I mean, Tips, it's definitely a classic, but it's the kind of place that if you don't get front and center early on, you're a little bit screwed.
I just got a response from Chris Moneymaker. I think he's
Okay.
checking his email,
Yep.
trying to
He
get on
is
Zoom right.
joining
Trying to
now.
get on Zoom. Yeah, no, trying to get on Zoom right now. But I guess at least he didn't totally big time us. I mean, I like Chris though. He's a good dude, despite the fact that he's a Tennessee fan, which I certainly have it out with from time to
He
time.
should be here now, Ben.
Okay, cool. Looks like we're joined here on Wake Up Mintzy, presented by Dude Wipes, by the 2003 World Series of Poker Main Event champion, the man who started the poker boom, and a hell of a great Southern poker ambassador, and a good dude, as I've gotten to know him the last few years. Chris Moneymaker. Do we have Chris?
What's up,
Oh, doing good. Good morning, Chris. How are things in Daytona Beach?
man? Doing all right. Obviously, down here it gets to be a late night. Got up this, got I pulled a Mincy this morning. Got up, my phone was dead. I had to charge it real fast to get on this call.
Been there.
So
Hey, Chris, will you hit start video for me by chance, if you don't mind?
yeah, of
Yeah, cool,
course.
perfect. Appreciate it, man.
All this damn
There
technology.
you
There
go.
we go. Love it.
Yeah,
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on Wake Up Mitzi this morning. Very excited to have you on, Chris. And I'm pumped. I know you're down in Daytona right now for the Moneymaker Tour event. I'm headed your way Saturday. I can't really beat the beach and poker. How are things going down there so far?
it's awesome. I came in and played my first seniors event, the older than Moneymaker event. Somehow they let me play that. So that was fun. Today we're going to be playing cash games. Tomorrow is main event. Or I'm sorry, yeah, tomorrow's main event, and then Friday, hopefully, I don't have to play the main event again. But I get 3 cracks at the main event if I want. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I know you're going to be down here Saturday, so I'm sure I'll see you for that. But yeah, we've had really good turnouts. You know, it's been fun.
I want to ask, okay, and Chad, if you have any questions for Chris, fire away too. A lot of stuff. This is what's interesting to me is you started the Moneymaker Tour, I believe, last year. I think it's a brilliant idea, especially with your presence in the poker world. What inspired you to think, hey, I want to start my own poker tour?
So essentially, I started the poker tour. I saw there was a big need in the poker world. There had been a lot of tournaments that they would offer a guarantee, and when people didn't show up for whatever reason, or they didn't meet the guarantee, they would uh, basically say, well, we're canceling the guarantee. When you put a guarantee on a poker tournament, you got to pay the guarantee. So that was very troubling. And then the other thing I saw in the industry was the rate, what we charge players to play in the event is just astronomical in some of these tours. So I decided that, I want to have a tour that, you know, I mean, we want to make money, but at the same time, we want to give the players a fair shake. We don't want to, just charge an astronomical rate. We want to give them, some value. And so that was number two. And then finally, we want to make sure we had good structures. I mean, a lot of times when you put out a $400, $600 event, they'll rush you out the door. They'll, make the structures won't be that good. So my tournament director, set up really good structures for, there's a lot of play in all of our events. So I'm really proud of the product, and I think that we're hitting a market that's been a little bit underserved. So I'm excited that we're doing it. Like I said, we've been we're going on what, probably 6 months now, something like that. And we've got 3 really big announcements coming up this weekend. We're
All
going
right.
to announce our next 3 stops. So we're really excited about those 3 stops, and should be a some we got big news coming. So fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, I've never spoiled big news before, so I got nothing. Luckily, I'm in the dark, and I don't even want to know, so I don't possibly screw up and spoil it. But what's interesting to me, what you're referring to is, I know the world, like a lot of people play like the World Series of Poker circuit events, and obviously you'll be out there for the WSOP main, but they do have high rake. There's no denying it. And you've got the WSOP and the World Poker Tour, the 2 biggest brands. But what we've seen in the poker world the last 10 years really is a lot of grassroots tours kind of starting up. And the Run Good Poker Tour has been a big success. The Mid States Poker Tour being another one, and then yours as well. But there's a huge niche in the poker world to kind of, for the more common player, the lower rake, like you said, and just give them, more options. And I think you found something, and it seems like you enjoy doing it too.
Yeah, I do enjoy doing it. Part of it is it's a passion project for me too. And like you said, almost like 99% of the poker players play smaller buy-ins. They're not playing the 10Ks and the 25Ks. I mean, the 600s, 500s, 1500s. That's really what people play. And and there are really some really good tours out there. I mean, Run Good, Mid Stakes, those are all really fine tours. But they are not everywhere, and we're trying to fill niches where they're not. So we've met all of our guarantees except for 2, which is great for us personally. We missed 2 guarantees, which is perfectly fine. We're real happy with the numbers, and we're real happy with the results, and everybody seems to be having fun. So we're gonna continue doing it.
We're looking back. I know it's crazy because I doubt it seems like it was that long ago. 21 years ago, you won the 2003 World Series of Poker main event. And I was talking about, before having you on, just the insane impact you had on so many lives. Like me, for example, I started playing poker watching you on TV, playing games in the frat house at Ole Miss. And, looking back on that, I mean, the poker boom's kind of still going 20 years later. And I really think when you won that main off getting in a satellite, showing everybody that, hey, you don't have to be Phil Ivey to win the World Series main, that's like still has an all-time legacy in the poker world. What's that like reflecting on? I know you've gotten asked that in the interview probably 800 times, but 20 years later, looking back on it, still the significance of it is not any less.
Yeah, I mean, it's very surreal. I mean, when you have a quote unquote an effect named after you, it's um, pretty cool. But you look back and you see how poker's changed. I mean, people don't even realize. Before I won the main event, poker rooms were shutting down across the U.S. Like, it was getting harder and harder to find poker. It was really difficult to find tournaments. And the game was essentially dying. And when I won the World Series of Poker, all of a sudden, I got really fortunate in a lot of ways. One, to win, but 2, during that time, the NHL was going through a lockout, so ESPN didn't really have anything to put on TV, so they just kept putting poker on TV, which was getting really good ratings. And it is pretty crazy 20 years later that, I mean, the majority of your poker personalities or stars or whatever are still from that early generation. You have a couple new guys that have come on and done really good things with YouTube and with the vlogging, but your bigger stars are still from that older generation. So I don't know. It's pretty phenomenal, the change that we've gone through in the last 20 years, but also how that one point in time was just so dramatic for the whole industry.
What's it been like living with that for 20 years? Because everywhere you go, in every poker room, everyone knows you. I played poker with you. You have an incredibly aggressive style, but people are gunning for you like crazy. So I know that has to change how you play against people. How have you just managed all that?
Well, first of all, friends and family made sure that anytime I've got a big head, they really make sure that I get beat back down pretty quickly. My wife and kids, they punish me a lot. So I can't have a big head. One, two, on the poker table, it definitely took some time for adjustments. Everybody wants to have a story. Everybody wants to be able to say they beat me or um, yeah, played a hand with me. So it definitely took some changing. I was not able to bluff near as much when I play cash games, for example. I generally don't bluff that much, and I'll tell people I don't bluff that much. It looks like I'm doing a ton of bluffing. I'm very aggressive. I'm betting a lot of small money, but like when the money goes in, I generally have it, and people just generally just don't ever believe me. So I take a lot of small stabs at pots, but again, once I start putting serious money in, I just always have it because I get called. I mean, people want to make plays at me. They want to, say they beat me in a pot, and I can just, over the years, I've gotten able to sense when people want to take shots at me and want to play, try to outplay me. Um, One of my biggest strengths as a poker player is being able to read situations and read players. I've never been a, GTO slash math player. I've been more of a field player my entire life, and I've studied the nuances of poker now, but I still go more on field than anything else, which is what poker should be. I think.
I do too. And that's a fascinating topic to bring up in the poker world because as online has, it's become such a math analytical game. But I think live poker and online poker are kind of, I mean, they're the same rules, but almost different games. Because online you're just dealing with like the information and bet sizes and that stuff. But live, it's all psychological and you can feel the vibes at the table, like how people are reacting to you specifically in the GTO thing. And I know people are, non-poker people are like, what the hell are we talking about right now? But that's just like a formula where you ABC, this is what you do in this situation. And to me, I think every situation is different, especially live at the table with psychology. Because, as you said, you can't just plug in GTO at the live poker table because people are playing way differently against you than the common person. So I agree with that. And I think that's like a fascinating debate in the poker world. And I actually think a lot of that GTO and all that stuff's kind of bad for poker too. I mean, I get that people are trying to play optimally, but like people want to play poker to have a good time and stuff. When people are running charts on their phone and analytics at the table, I'm not. I don't know. I just don't think it's good for the game, personally.
Well, I mean, the thing with poker is so you want players to get better because if they don't get better, they go broke and the game dies. So it's actually not a terrible thing for people to learn to get better. And I don't think you should have charts and whatever up on your phone. But when you talk about like GTO, for example, game, that's game theory optimal for anybody that doesn't know. GTO is basically it makes you play optimally, so that no matter what decision you make, you can't really be exploited by your opponent. Well, the problem with GTO is if say I'm playing Mintzy, I'm going to use you as an example. Even though you've made a final table of my tournament, I believe I'm a little bit more skilled than you in poker. If I play GTO against you, I'm actually going to make you a better poker player because I'm going to make decisions that actually help your game because I'm playing optimally. Because it's a zero sum. Like I'm making decisions it's going to help me against better players, but it's going to hurt me against worse players. So what you really want to do is you want to play exploitive poker, which is what generally most people do when they play live. I didn't want to play GTO against you. So this is the best example I can give for GTO poker. So if you're playing GTO, it says when you get a hand like ace five and I raise and you re-raise me, then I'm supposed to re-raise you. And if you re-raise me, I'm supposed to re-raise you again. I'm supposed to get all my money in with ace five. So you do that against a top end professional, it's not the end of the world because that's what GTO says you're supposed to do. But if you come to the Moneymaker tour or you play against some recreational players and I raise and they re-raise me, there's no way ace five is ever good. Like it's just never going to happen. So you got to play what's called exploitively. You got to make adjustments based on your opponents to take advantage of things that they're not doing. And that's where GTO it'll make bad poker players better because it makes mistakes against really bad poker players. So that's the biggest difference between live and online. I put in a buddy into a live event all the time, and he does really, really well. I put him into an online tournament this weekend, and he's a live player. He played horribly. I was like, wow, I can never put you in an online tournament again. But then I've got friends that play online, and they play really well online, but they can't play worth a lick live. So it's funny that it's still two cards, same exact game, but plays completely different.
And you're also an America's Card Room pro, so you play a good bit online. Like your poker day to day. Obviously, you're balancing a family life, business. How much online live poker? Like, what kind of balance? How much are you playing?
It's definitely tough. I mean, it depends on the week, depends on the month. So I've been kind of at home the last 2 or 3 weeks, which has been nice. Um, but starting now, like, we're playing. There's a huge Venom on ACR, which is the site that I represent. It's a $2,600 buy-in with a $12.5 million guarantee. That started last week. I bagged like the third biggest stack. We start again on Monday. We have two more flights. We have a flight tomorrow and a flight on Sunday. And then day two is going to be on Monday. So I'll be playing a really big poker tournament on Monday. And then right after that, I mean, obviously I'm down here in Daytona Beach this weekend. And then I've got the Venom starting Monday. And then right after that, I'm going to go off to Montenegro and play in a really big event called the Triton, which will be, a lot of fun. Then I come back and play another Moneymaker Tour event. And then that leads right into the World Series of Poker, which I'm going to go play the first couple events this year. So my May is pretty much all travel. It's going to be a really crazy time. So I'll be really busy playing a lot of poker. After the World Series starts, though, in June, I generally don't play much of the World Series of Poker. Most poker players go and they spend the entire summer out in Vegas playing. What a lot of people don't understand about poker is the World Series of Poker is not just the main event. When you go out for the World Series of Poker, it starts like May 27th and runs till the end of July. And there's like 70 different events. Every single day, there's two different events that range in price from like $500 to $100,000. The main event, the $10,000 main event, which is what I won, starts all the way in like July 3rd. It's really, really far into the series, and it's a $10,000. It's just one event. It's obviously the prize jewel of all the events, but there's tons of events going on in the summer. Well, I generally don't play those. I've got 3 kids at home, so that's usually the time that we go to the lake. You're an Ole Miss guy, so you know Sardis pretty well. We go
Oh
down
yeah.
to Sardis Lake pretty much every summer. We got a boat down there, so we go down there, and I take off poker. I don't play poker the month of July hardly at all, or I'm sorry, the month of June. And then I'll pick back up and play July. And then August, I generally don't play a whole lot of poker. I play a lot of poker when my kids are in school. When they're out of school, it's usually time for family and time for, doing other things.
No, I think that's the balance stuff is very, very important in life. And I also agree, like the Vegas thing, I like to go out a little before the main and play the main. And I know a lot of people like doing the whole summer thing, but I don't know. I kind of have your opinion on it too. I think it's hard to win all those Hold'em events that have 8,000 people. It's great for people that are good at PLO and the mix games and stuff because during the WSOP you get to play those for big money. But I kind of think that's where the value is. What was it like? So my final question I got for you, and also follow the Moneymaker Tour on Twitter and Instagram. Daytona this weekend and the West Palm Beach coming up in May, and he's got more announcements coming. Certainly excited to play that. After you won the World Series main when you were young, was it hard for you to play like $400 or smaller events after that, or did you? I'm just curious what that's like after you hit like over $1 million win.
Well, no, I mean, you handle things differently. I mean, obviously you see a lot of people that win the lottery and go broke right afterwards. And I was determined I wasn't going to be that guy. I wasn't going to, win a lot of money and go broke. So I was completely comfortable playing 1-2-2-5, and I did that for years. And I still, we'll play a game. We're playing a stream game tomorrow down here in Daytona as part of the Moneymaker tour. I'm playing a 5-10 game, and it's a relatively small game. I played a 5-5 game yesterday. You know, I'll play enough big games that it keeps my competitive juices flowing. But I can still win a lot of money in a 5-5 game or 2-5 game. You don't lose the concept of money. It's easy in poker to lose the value of money when you're playing a $600 event online and you just rebuy 5 or 6 times. I mean, that's a lot of money, and especially online, it's easy to do when you're not actually touching the money. So you have to constantly remind yourself of how much you're playing for. And I've never really been. It's never been hard for me to play lower stakes, or I still try. I'm such a competitive person that I try to play the whatever stakes I'm playing. I try to play to that level, I guess. And what I mean by that is, if I'm playing a Triton event, which is like a $50,000 buy-in, I'm going to play a lot more GTO. I'm going to play a lot more structured. Where if I'm playing a Moneymaker tour event, I'm going to be playing crazy. I'm going to be playing wild. Taking a lot more chances, because again, most players, when you play poker, this biggest tip I can tell you for poker players, the most aggressive poker player is going to win the most money. Aggression in poker is a really good thing. If you're the aggressor, you're going to have a chance to win the most money, because you can win hands multiple ways. You can make your opponents fold, or you can have the best hand. Playing passive poker is going to be losing poker. So if you're ever playing in a poker game, just know that if you're the aggressor, then you're going to have a much better chance of winning.
Awesome. Well, Chris, just want to say thank you for coming on and joining us this morning on Wake Up Mintzy. Follow the Moneymaker Tour event going on in Daytona Beach. I'll be down there Saturday. West Palm Beach coming up in a few weeks. Stay tuned for those big announcements. And appreciate you waking up and giving us a few minutes here on Wake Up Mintzy this morning.
Dude, I
what sounded like a big night.
I did just wake up. By the way, you don't have anything going on Tuesday, do you?
I don't know. No bar. I don't have a bar. I know Monday I don't have a Barstool mandatory event. Luckily,
right.
Triple check that. And we got a fun announcement coming with the Moneymaker Tour and some Barstool charity event coming up in a few weeks. I'm real excited about too. So I'll be pumping that as well. But thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I just rolled out of bed. I think in the beginning of this interview, I was completely lost, but I'm glad I got up and we were able to get this done. So I look forward to seeing you this weekend. And dude, you're an awesome guy. You're from my neck of the woods, so I love having you on the tour. I love having you part of it, and I look forward to hanging out with you more.
Hell yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing some content. Chris Moneymaker, thanks for joining Wake Up Mintzy, presented by Dude Wipes. And now we're going to bring in our other guest today, a man I'm excited for his Wake Up Mintzy debut, our friend Liam Blutman at Barstool. I'm about to have to go adjust this camera real quick to get Blutman in the shot, but hang on just a quick second.
Hello, friends, humans, people, Mintzy fans.
There we go.
They've been asking for you in the chat, Blutman. They're excited for the Blutman debut here.
Cool.
Hey, you could probably zoom out just a little bit more, Mintz, by the way. Just
okay, a little more? All right.
Yeah.
Showbiz can't be perfected instantly, but that's okay. It's all about the process. Mintzy, I'm happy to be here, man. This studio makes me purple.
Makes you purple? How does it make you purple?
It makes me very purple.
Makes you purple. Well, so you've been at Barstool now for what, about, I guess it was like November?
Yeah, a few months. Moved here in December.
How's it going so far? It seems like you found a really good role. Everybody loves having you around.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, I don't know. I've got to do cool things. We went to Palm Springs. So that was cool. Tennis was cool. A lot of other stuff gonna be cool. Cool. That's the extent of my vocabulary in the early morning.
Well, we had the tennis trip together, Palm Springs, went to Indian Wells. The Top Spin 2K25 game actually came out, I believe, yesterday. We did a live stream of me and Hank and Tate and Rudy playing, and Brandon Walker was up there. Awesome game. Check that out. Love 2K. The Top Spin game's amazing, so get on that. I wanted to have you in here to talk about a few things. First of all, Actually, I want to start with the NHL playoffs because you're from Vegas. You're a big Golden Knights fan. You follow the playoffs close. Huge game 2 tonight in Dallas. Vegas winning game 1, 4-3. You got Stone back after he was out for 26 games with a spleen injury. Do you feel like the Golden Knights got a shot to make another run at it this year?
Tell you what, Mintzy, I'm in the camp where we just won a cup in our 6th season of existing. I can't be greedy and like get mad if we don't go back to back. However, watching game 1, seeing this group come together, a team that hasn't really got to play much together because, a lot of injuries. Most man games lost in the NHL, people. It's not just circumventing the cap, which we kind of did, but we won't get into that. Mark Stone played at about 50%. He played about 50% in game 1, and he still looked dang good. Alex Pietrangelo also, I'd say he looked about 70%, still looked pretty good. We played an extremely mediocre game 1 and took it to Dallas. Shot suppression machine was going nuts in the 3rd period. Thompson let up a fluky one. Is what it is. Mintzy, this team is dangerous, man. I like us to get to the Western Conference Final. I like a collision course with the Edmonton Oilers. I like McDavid, Eichel, WCF, Portnoy, Big Cat, WCF.
Yeah, I'm about talking to your mic a little bit more about saying that. Yeah, so Vegas won it all last year. They made the finals their first year in existence too. So I mean, in 5 seasons, they made the finals and won it all. I actually got to go to Game 5 when they won it last year. I've never seen a more electric event, I don't think, in my life. Then man, they turn it up in Vegas with all the showmanship and stuff. I mean, it is just wild how fun those Golden Knights home games are.
Yeah, I'm very jealous that you got to go to game 5, truthfully. I wanted to go so bad. But not a bad experience for your first Knights game. It's a raucous crowd, it's electric, it's a show. We do it better than anyone else.
I mean, I'm not going to necessarily argue that. Well, watching the NHL playoffs so far, I know you follow it pretty close night to night. Last night, some interesting stuff. Boy, that was a hell of a game in Florida. Tampa Bay losing in overtime. The Lightning have now lost 6 straight OT games. I saw Nashville got a late night road win. What series are you keeping your eye on real close other than Dallas, Vegas?
I'm keeping them all very close, except for the Washington, New York one, I guess, which I can't even say I still am watching intently because I love watching the New York Rangers. I think there's a very fun watch. Like Panarin, Mika, Zibanejad, that's how you say it, Che.
Savannah Jack?
Yeah, Mika Zibanejad, like Igor Shesterkin, Adam Fox, like the team is so much fun. Alexis Lafreniere, I just love watching that guy play puck since his days in Rimouski. So I have an Oceanic jersey. I love watching the Rangers, but I think all these series are gonna be good except for that one, honestly. Like all of them are gonna be close. Most of them should be going 6 games. I guess Edmonton's not gonna be
I don't know. Can the Islanders push it to 6 against Carolina?
I still think that they could be up 2-0.
That's true.
Series. They could very easily be up 2-0 on a series. I think the Canes are extremely overvalued. I think the Islanders have kind of proved that. They've played very average hockey and they're right there in both games. And again, could be up 2-0. If Carolina gets one of them in New York, yeah, the series is over in 5, but you never know what could happen. Each game there has been a coin flip. The 3rd and 4th can as well.
And so the NHL playoffs continue to roll on tonight. Game 2 of that Vegas Dallas. A fun week, as I said, with the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs both going on. All right. Well, I wanted to get to while we got you here too is you're the senior draft analyst in the NFL draft. I know you've been working hard on your mocks.
Yep.
We've got our NFL draft show tomorrow night. Join us for that. Going to be a lot of fun. Looking at this first round, I know you've done a million mocks and stuff. I mean, we all know Caleb Williams is going 1 to the Bears. That's not news. From there, is there any chance anybody trades for Jaden Daniels, or is there any chance that Drake May goes over him number 2?
I'm gonna be honest. I think we flirted. I think there was a better chance of JJ McCarthy going 2nd than Drake May, and I think we really flirted with that possibility in recent weeks, to a month, whatever. And I wouldn't say pulled people at the office about, but I kind of talked to people at the office and was like, asking for their thoughts, whatever. At this point, though, I think it's done deal with Jay and Daniels. I think that's where Washington's going to go. I think we know the first 2 picks in the draft. The draft kind of really starts at 3 with New England. I don't know where they're going to go. I think it's going to be Drake May. They could trade down. It's gonna be Drake May or they trade down. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but someone is gonna trade up. I think Arizona's gonna stay put at 4. Someone's gonna trade up to 3 with New England to get Drake May, or if they prefer JJ McCarthy. We don't know what these front offices are valuing heavier right now. Ranking heavier, whatever. Or someone's gonna trade up to 5 with the Chargers. I think there's a real chance.
That one, a lot of people with the Vikings linked to, with them having the 11 and 23rd
Yeah.
pick, and then with Cousins leaving.
Yes, and the Vikings kind of prepared themselves for a move up here. And I just think that there's an angle people are going to be into the ground with Jim Harbaugh trading the pick that gets JJ McCarthy drafted in the top 5. I think people are going to run with that and love that. I also think that, hey, if Drake May doesn't go 3rd, well, Josh McCown's on the Vikings staff, and he coached Drake May in high school and loves that kid. And we know who he wanted last year. Josh McCown wanted C.J. Stroud last year. He's got an eye for good quarterbacks. If Minnesota could move up for Drake May, I love Drake May. I think that'd be a home run for Minnesota. However, mock draft 3, final one for me coming out today. I have the Minnesota Vikings moving up to get J.J. McCarthy.
And not risking it. Yeah. If he's their guy, though, they're going to want to get him in Arizona at 4. You have taken Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are kind of rolling with a trade down there, and I understand it, but I also understand that the Arizona Cardinals are a very young team with a lot of talent and are kind of going to be there's a strong desire for a true alpha WR1 there, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has been at the top of that team's list since, let's say, I believe the summer of 2022. About like that team, or years I'm bad with. Maybe it was 23. Yeah, 23. Sorry, summer of 2023, before last season. They've been in on that kid for a long time. A lot of people have. They're infatuated with him. I think that they're going to stay put and take Marvin, but again, anything could happen. If you get offered a king's ransom, you're cool moving down and work on the fly.
6 pick New York Giants. Hypothetically, let's say Drake May or McCarthy's available. Do they take a look at it, or do you think they're going to keep rolling? Daniel Jones is in his 5th-year option this year, I believe. And, there's a lot of questions there. I know he had a really good year 2 years ago when they made the playoffs, but other than that, it's been very, very up and down and inconsistent. Do they look to get a quarterback possibly?
Yeah, I'm not a Daniel Jones guy, never have been. I've been begging them to look into taking his replacement for a few years now. I think, I mean, they've done their work on quarterbacks in this cycle. They've done extensive research and met with a lot of people. Drake May or JJ McCarthy's there, and they're high on one of them. Like, yeah, I think that they will. If Drake May's there at 6, that's going to mean probably that one of Neighbors or Dunze is also off the board. So we're going to take them off. That's a weapon that they would have had high on their board. That's now off the board. You start prioritizing things. Well, what do we think about next year's quarterback class? You can't really go too crazy on that because so much could change in a year. Remember, it wasn't long ago that Spencer Rattler was a surefire top 5 pick, and now where is he? We're probably looking at him as an early day 3 guy. Anything could happen. Anything could change in a year. You look next year, top quarterback right now is probably Carson Beck.
Okay.
You have to do serious evaluation on whether that's going to be the guy that you essentially pass up on a potential franchise changing quarterback for. Do you do that? In my opinion, no. I'm a firm believer in having that next quarterback ready and available. The Packers did it with Jordan Love. The hate at the end of the first round got a lot. That pick at the end of the first round got so much hate, and it never made sense to me. Drafting Jordan Love there was an elite choice by Green Bay. They sat on it, they waited, they developed them. He learned from the best in the business. Drake May or JJ McCarthy or whoever the Giants hypothetically take will not get a chance to learn from the best in the business, but they're going to have a chance to be a starting NFL quarterback in this season. So I don't know. If I'm the Giants, I'm seriously considering taking Drake May. I don't love JJ McCarthy, but honestly, I think he's an upgrade Daniel Jones when it's all said and done. So
You mentioned this loaded wide receiver class. How do you have the wide receivers ranked? You mentioned Malik Neighbors and Adunze. I know Brian Thomas from LSU getting some first round looks. A whole bunch of them. How do you have the wide receivers ranked?
yeah, I'll give you 5, and then I'll give you a few others, I guess. The wide receiver class is, as Mincy alluded to, it's loaded, it's oozing with talent. You really cannot go wrong with ranking them. And I think this happens often when we're ranking someone. There is the viewer, the reader, kind of gets angry when they see a guy, let's say Lad McConkey, for example. If someone is like very high on them and sees him at WR 7 or 8, they kind of get mad. They're like, why is he not higher? Well, the class is just ridiculous. It just goes to show how great this class is. Marvin Harrison Jr. is my 1. Roma Dunze is my 2. Malik Neighbors is my 3. Like that right there says it all. Malik Neighbors is a WR3.
Yeah, who broke the LSU receiving record with all the guys they've had go through there.
It's that good of a class. AD Mitchell is my 4. I think AD Mitchell has the highest floor of like any prospect, or sorry, highest ceiling of any prospect in this class. I think he could be one of the best receivers in the league. It's all about he's just got that George Pickens mental. So that's going to be something that we've got to survey and figure out. But AD Mitchell could easily end up being, not easily, but he could end up being the first or second best receiver in this class when it's all said and done, one of the best in the league potentially. Brian Thomas as well has that same kind of potential. He's a dog. He's WR5 for me. I really like Malachi Corley as well. He's got a lot of fans in the NFL. I think he's going to go higher than people are probably thinking. I think he could go in the 30s or early 40s. Yeah, I don't know. Like Lad McConkey. I like I mean, there's so many guys. Dude, Malik Washington, but his height being at 5'8" kind of scares me, but he could do everything. I don't know. There's just good receivers everywhere, Mitzi.
About this is also a loaded offensive tackles draft, and that's something that's not been the case the last few years. And I know, the NFL teams always need linemen. Saints are desperate for an offensive tackle right now, especially Ryan Ramchek's future looking uncertain. He's got like a degenerative condition, and so they're worried about him not coming back. And Trevor Penning 2 years ago is a complete bust and a washout. Who do you have any? We got about 3 minutes left. Who do you have any? Who are your favorite tackles?
Yeah, so the same thing with the receiver class, offensive tackles loaded, and you end up having a guy like Talis Fuaga or Marius Mims who end up, you rank them. I rank them as my OT 5 and 6, and it's like crazy to think about players that good with that much potential are that low. But then you look at the rest. Joe Alt, one of the best players in the class. Unfortunately, New Orleans probably ain't getting him. Olu Fashanu, crazy to think about that this kid's probably gonna be he's gonna go outside of top 10 probably. Like that's where we're leaning right now. It's crazy to think about. He was always thought of like a top 5-7 pick. I have New Orleans taking him at 14 in my
I think that would be great.
that
They got Kubiak. They hired Clint Kubiak to run the zone blocking Shanahan scheme, and so they're switching their schemes. They got to get a tackle for that.
Yeah, I think it'd be an incredible fit both ways, and he'd help plenty in pass protection. I have Tyler Guyan. I believe the consensus would say he's end of the first round. I love Tyler Guyan. He's my OT3. One of the first sentences I told to Stephen Shea when I came to this office was, people aren't high enough on Tyler Guyan. This guy's going to be a top 20 pick. Might not go top 20, but this guy wasn't really being talked about in December, and now people love him. Some people hate him, but I love him.
All right, 2 last quick questions. Where's Brock Bowers end up going? Because I know taking a tight end is like a luxury in the first round of the NFL draft, but obviously he's an incredible player and has an amazing skill set. Where do you have him going?
I have Brock Bowers going to the New York Football Jets, who are in win now mode and are just going to want another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. I think that's
What pick is that? Okay, I can see that. And then finally, we hadn't even mentioned a defensive player. This reminds me of the draft a couple of years ago where Micah Parsons was the first defensive player off the board at 11. Look how that turned out. Who are a couple of your top defensive players?
I love Dallas Turner.
Yes, I do too.
Polarizing right now, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I think he's unbelievable.
Have him in the 20s. That's ridiculous. If and when he's there at 8 for the Atlanta Falcons, this is just one of those picks where you take a few minutes to survey offers. There's not going to be anything worth trading down for, and you snap pick Dallas Turner, and that's a slam dunk, and they finally get a feared edge rusher that they've been starving for in years past. The way that he just blends his power and speed and converts everything is truly fascinating. He's a star in the making, I think. Quinion Mitchell and Terry and Arnold, my 2 favorite cornerbacks in the class. I've been on Quinion since 2022 coming out to Toledo. That kid is nasty. He's built for it. If he played college football in the SEC, which he kind of was, he was looked at to play SEC ball, but nobody was willing to take a shot on the 3-star. So he went to Toledo. If he was playing in the SEC, it'd be a top 7-8 pick for sure. We'll probably see him in the top 15 anyway. He's that talented of a player and has special teams value, just long, physical, overwhelms you. And then Terry and Arnold, I also really like, just super savvy. He could also be a top 15 pick, and I think those are your two best corners in the class.
Well, Liam, I wish I could talk to you for like 30 more minutes, but we're up against the clock. I just want to say thanks for joining us on Wake Up Mintzy. Love everything you're doing at Barstool. Thrilled to have you here. Also love the No Context College Football account. You've made quite an impression here and are already a very well-loved employee. So I hope you're enjoying it.
Yep. Thank you, Mintzy. That means a lot. Very kind words. Hopefully next time I'm in the studio, we can make me not purple. Not sure why this happens, but I'm purple still.
Yeah, you're just glowing. All right. Well, I want to thank Chris Moneymaker, Liam Blutman, Tyler Moody, Dude Wipe, Still Blue. Tomorrow, got LSU offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan, who coached Jaden Daniels at LSU, and then also Stephen Shea going to join us to preview the NFL draft. NFL draft show tomorrow night, Film Fest, red carpet event, Friday 3 to 6. Thank y'all for joining us for Wake Up Mintzy today. Let's have a hell of a Wednesday.
Thank you, Mintzy.
What's up, fellas? As y'all know, it's been a hell of a messy year. And the only thing messier than my online history are my big old fat sweaty dumps. That's why this season, I only trust Dude Wipes to handle my Mississippi mud pies.
Oh, Mintzy, you're cooking now. Ooh, wait.
When you're hot, you're hot.